Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is AtomiKO and today we have a Kyogre team. But before we can really talk about Kyogre, we're going to have to talk about what the overall theme of this team is, and it is controlling speed. And how do we do that? We do that with Regieleki and Tornadus. I really like these two on this team and typically lead with them, especially if my opponent has a speed control of their own, either Tailwind or any other type of Pokemon. So with Tornadus, we set up our own Tailwind, and you typically go first with Prankster, and we also have an eject button, so that way once Tornadus, sets up that Tailwind, it can get out of there. We don't need you. We can you can come back later when needed. And then Regieleki, if needed, on top of that, we can use Electro Web, because if both sides use Tailwind, I still want to be faster. So Electro Web kind of slows down both of my opponent's Pokemon, which is very helpful. Okay, and it has Focus Stash, so it could always come back and hit another round with some pretty decent damage. What else can we talk about? Let's talk about Articuno on this team. Let's talk about the Galarian bird that never got its due respect, because you got Galarian Moltres and you got Galarian Zapdos that kind of just ran Series 7, right? But here in Series 8, now that we could throw in some restricted legendaries, I really think it works well in tandem with Kyogre here. Kyogre, its Drizzle ability sets up rain, and then we have Articuno here that just never misses a hurricane, but that's typically not how I use this Pokemon. So for speed control, what if my opponent has a Trick Room? Getting up the fastest side is not going to be helpful, so that's where Articuno and its Trick Room comes in handy. Typically, you gotta see what your opponent has. Like if they're running a Ice Rider Calyrex and they have like a Whimsicott or something, they're going to set up Trick Room. So having Articuno come out possibly in the lead or maybe even in the back end is very, very smart here. And you just you got to play it by ear, but also make a really strategic kind of assumption. But that's why I would consider almost always bringing in Articuno, because you're always going to bring in Kyogre, and those two work great together. And let me explain why they work great together. Let's go back to Kyogre, because this is a Kyogre team. Kyogre has Drizzle, sets up rain, boosts water type attacks. Kyogre is also holding Mystic Water. What does that do? It boosts water attacks. Now it has a attack here that's called Water Spout with a base attack of 140, and I believe it's 150 if Dynamax, but we're not going to talk about Dynamax. We're just talking about the regular move, Water Spout. It does more damage based on how much HP Kyogre has, which is why controlling the speed and making sure Kyogre goes first always is important. So if Kyogre gets off a Water Spout, that's almost, I don't know, like a 4 out of 5 times potential knockout on both Pokemon on the other side. And with Articuno, you can always Dynamax Articuno, set up max Airstream, and really optimize that speed control right there. But let's just say your opponent has no means of speed control in their team, and know this just from looking at their team. That's where Indeedee comes in. Indeedee comes in, set up Psychic Surge with Drizzle, which is really good because now your opponent can't use any sort of fake out or anything to chip away Kyogre's health. And on top of that, if Indeedee uses Helping Hand, while Kyogre has its Drizzle, Mystic Water, and Water Spout, that's a two-turn victory. 3 turns if your opponent uses Protect. You see what I'm saying? This team is really good. Now there are some potential counters to this team, but that's where Incineroar kind of comes in. Incineroar with its Intimidate and its Assault Vest can really take a special attack damage well. It's got Burning Jealousy for any sort of Dynamax Pokemon using their max moves that always boosts their sides, like max Airstream. You instantly burn them. We got Darkest Lariat, we got U-Turn, and we got our own Fake Out. Doesn't really work well with Psychic Surge, so you got to play that strategically. But this is the team that I recently created. This was one that I'm really proud of. A lot of people are talking about how Kyogre is the best one, and it is a very good restricted legendary. Don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna say it's the best one. It does really well. So far it's done better than any other team that I've created with restricted legendaries, so you know, there's that. Feel free to use this team, climb the ladder yourself, stick around and I'll show you some battles where, you know, I effectively use this team. If you like this video, please like, consider subscribing. I'll make some more. This is I'm actually having a lot of fun creating these teams, and I think I will also be reviewing other teams that YouTubers make and see how they create their teams and how I like them, and you know, just kind of go from there. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.